Hello there, Pursuing Freedom friends. Thanks as always for tuning in today. I am so excited because I only just realized that we actually surpassed 100 episodes of this Pursuing Freedom podcast, which is just crazy. And whether it's your first time listening or you have been following along for the past 100 episodes, I just want to say thank you for being here. And I appreciate your support, your reviews, your feedback. And I just hope that this podcast is bringing you value and helping you on your journey as a real estate professional. So, to all the guests that have taken their time over the years to share their stories and to inspire us and give us new ideas and keep us going, I also want to say thank you to you as well. I've been absolutely amazed by what has come from this podcast, which the best takeaway is the diversity in individuals that are achieving success through the real estate industry, as well as building a life powered by their business that is joyful and purposeful. And so thank you to all the guests. I've learned so much from all of you, and that's really helped me to continue to develop in my own life and my own journey as a business owner. So thank you. I appreciate you so much. As you probably know, the philosophy of Pursuing Freedom is that the goal is to build a life you don't need a vacation from, which means essentially pursuing the idea of both and. So creating both an amazing life and an amazing business. And it's not one at the expense of the other, but truly a life worth living powered by a business that's engineered to support your lifestyle goals. So in honor of surpassing 100 episodes, I am bringing to you today a solocast on what I like to call the 3 R's of success. And success, I define as having the freedom to enjoy life, to be present with the people I care about, both personally and professionally, to feel awake and focused and energized and enthused in order to magnetize the results and the rewards that we all desire and deserve. So let's jump right in. The 3 R's are rest, recess, and routines. And when I say recess, you can imagine I'm talking about play, and that is correct. So for so many of us, I don't know why, but there seems to be a disconnect between achieving financial success and living a balanced life. Over the years and throughout the coaching programs that I've been teaching and the mastermind groups that I've been a part of and the accountability groups that I've been lucky to be a part of and so much more, I continue to see this one common theme, which is I had my best month ever, but I was miserable. So I've decided I'm good with lower volume. I'm going to just shrink my vision and I'm going to try to do a little bit less so that I can have more time to live. Or, I've had my best month ever, but it took the life out of me. I should probably hire help, but then the business slowed down. So now I'm not really sure that I need that or that I can justify that. So there's almost this underlying fear of success, this correlation between the growth of our business and as it relates to overwork and overwhelm, where the thought of growing our business any further for many of us can be terrifying because the trade-off or the sacrifice of our time, energy, and happiness does not feel in alignment. And so we convince ourselves that we're okay with less. But I would wager that the fear isn't the financial reward. Like nobody's afraid of generating too much income. We're mostly afraid of what it's going to cost us. What's the expense to our lifestyle? And so this can actually derail us from sticking to consistent routines that would actually result in that predictable growth in our business such that financial freedom would come as a byproduct. So what happens is our business is slow, right? Our pipeline dries up and we're feeling stressed. So we hustle, we take classes, we learn and try on new strategies. And then all of a sudden we start to get results, seemingly miraculously, right? We do the work, we get the results and the deals start coming in. But the next thing you know, we're feeling overwhelmed. So we fall off our routine, the very routine that got us to this place of generating enough business to put us on the path towards financial freedom is now sucking the life out of us. So we feel a little bit stressed, we feel a little overworked, and we just tell ourselves we're just going to get through this busy month, and we take our foot off the gas as it relates to our routines and our habits. And we tell ourselves that we'll get back to normal, we'll get back to living our life and having fun again once we get through this. Inevitably, the business dries up again, which simply feeds the fear that the business is unpredictable. And so there's no need for me to create better systems or delegate and leverage my weaknesses and build on my strengths. And so we just kind of continue to ride this roller coaster of ups and downs. And by the way, it's like, okay, well, now my business has dried up and I can't rest now because I'm feeling so anxious about the business and is it ever going to pick up again? Or, I can't play now because I'm too stressed and preoccupied by the fear that I'm not going to have business again. So I have to get back to grinding. I got to get back to hustling. I got to work, work, work. On and on it goes. And I'm here to tell you that it can be so much easier if you're willing to embrace the idea of routines, to embrace the idea of schedules, to prioritize rest and recess as much as you prioritize routines. Okay. So I want to dive into these 3 R's, knowing that the goal is not to pursue financial success at the expense of rest and play. The goal is to attract financial success as a byproduct of having focused time for work and focused time for rest and focused time for having fun. So they're not working against one another, they're complementing one another. In one of my favorite books, which I've talked about on the show many times, Free to Focus, Michael Hyatt says that we're either too successful in coping with the relentless pace or we're buried by it. Either way, we never stop to ask, why are we subjecting ourselves to it in the first place? I love his philosophy so much because it's become sort of the playbook for how I continue to tweak and refine my own operational procedures and lifestyle to feel that emotion of building a life you don't need a vacation from. And I love it so much that I actually reached out to Michael, and I'm super excited that he's going to be coming on the show to really unpack his strategy further in the coming months. So in the meantime, I highly recommend you pick up the book Free to Focus. It is such a game changer and a required reading for all of my coaching clients. So throughout the month of July, which is when I'm recording this, I've been focused on the theme of tracking your time in order to see how you're spending your time so that you can learn how to build on your strengths, those activities that you know bring you joy and results. Those are the tasks and the commitments and the relationships that bring a smile to your face, that get you excited to get going. Because without an awareness of how you're spending your time, there's actually no way to improve it to get better results with less effort, which ultimately is the goal here, right? We want consistent, predictable growth in our business without overwork. In essence, we want to get better results with less effort. We want to work smarter, not harder. In another awesome book that I love called Unfuck Yourself by John Gary Bishop, my apologies on the profanity, but that is the title of the book, and it is a great, great book. And he speaks to the same concept and says there's nothing inherently wrong with working long hours and sacrificing your quality of life. And some people might be perfectly content to do so in order to get the income or the career that they want. But so many of us have actually forgotten why we were pursuing what we're pursuing in the first place. So I often ask people, what were you seeking when you started? If you're 100% commission and you took that leap and you took that risk from a steady paycheck, what were you after? Because in most cases, the answer is I was looking for more flexibility. I was looking for more freedom. I wanted to be paid my worth, more financial success. And then I ask you, how's it going? Are you permitting yourself the very freedom, the flexibility, the rest and play that you were seeking when you started? Or are you feeling that roller coaster of I'm stressed when it's slow, which feeds my fear, and I'm stressed when it's busy, which results in me shrinking my vision, which isn't really in alignment with who I am because I have a growth mindset. So in one more quote I'm going to share with you in a book I just read, appropriately titled Rest, which is our second R here, Alex Sujung Kim Pang talks about how in today's workplace, overwork is respected, even though it's counterproductive, and argues that rest is something we need to take, not something that's given to us, not something we do when we've finished everything else. With appropriate rest, we have the ability to operate at our peak energy, which results in having a bigger impact with less time and more focus, which allows us to magnetize greater results than we could ever imagine. So as a result of these books and several others that I've been exploring over the years of creating the life you don't need a vacation from, I've been implementing a lot of new routines that include focused sprints of hard work followed by focused recess and rest. And as a person who naturally abhors structure and routine and thrives on change and spontaneity, it's been challenging and simultaneously more rewarding than I could ever imagine. So if you're listening and you're someone who's like, well, I don't like to do the same thing every day, and there's no way I'm going to schedule every hour of every day, I'm not going to encourage you to do that, but I am going to encourage you to establish some habits that take away the thinking about what I have to do today, create simplicity so that you can measure your success on a daily basis, so that you can then enjoy the freedom you're seeking on the heels of accomplishing what you set out to do. So let's talk about routines for a minute and how they might change your life and business as they've changed mine. First of all, the goal is always progress over perfection. This comes up a lot with my coaching clients that they say, I intended to do this, this, and this, and I wrote out an ideal schedule and I had a routine plan, but then something came up, and that's okay. One of my favorite affirmations I think I learned from The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod is where I am as a result of who I've been, but where I go depends entirely on who I choose to be starting today. So where you've been has no bearing on where you go from here. Whether you're currently hungry for business and stressed out, or you're overwhelmed with business and stressed out, it's still ultimately going to be up to you to choose to make a change and to not wait till some imaginary day in the future when either your fear of growth disappears or you wait for a day in the future to make an improvement in your life. It's going to be up to you to listen to this and say, you're right, I need to make a change, and it's up to me, because nobody's going to knock on your door and help you run your business better. It's up to you. It's up to you to engineer your business to better support the lifestyle vision you had, which should include rest and recess. So focus on your energy. When are you at your peak energy? Which activities do you do to both generate business, nurture business, follow up, on and on it goes, that you genuinely enjoy and that move the needle for you? And when are you feeling low? If you download the time tracking resource on the website, pursuingfreedom.com/resources, you can carry this piece of paper around with you and track what exactly are you doing all day long and how do you feel when you're doing those activities. When are you feeling dread? When are you noticing unchecked boxes moving from one day to the next? When are you sensing procrastination or low motivation? Have you ever established a game plan for what it looks like to consistently focus on growing your business day in and day out, knowing that your number one focus is always creating the business? Number two is nurturing it. Because without business to nurture, you're left feeling stuck. You're left feeling like a failure. You wonder, what should I do today? Then you stress about not getting done what you think you should have done. You beat yourself up, on it goes. And this whole entire process is sapping your energy. You end up depleted and you haven't accomplished much. Routines, which I define as daily habits supported by, you guessed it, the dreaded time blocks, will indeed change your life. In another amazing book that I read recently called Atomic Habits, James Clear says that many people think they lack motivation, when in fact, what they really lack is clarity. I want to let that sink in for a minute. That many people think they lack motivation, and what they really lack is clarity. How many times do you find yourself thinking, I'm not in the mood today. I know what I should do. I should make some calls, but I'm not really feeling it. And so thinking about what I should do today, when I should do it, when should I work out? When should I make those calls? When should I do the Popeyes? When's this going to get done? You're just allowing your energy to be depleted systematically, which means that you're not going to experience the vibration that ultimately attracts the success you desire and deserve, like a lighthouse in the storm. So, progress over perfection. Wouldn't it be easier to establish an ideal schedule so that you have a basic framework to work with, so you could stop spending every morning deciding, what am I going to do today? If you're unaware of how you're even spending your time, how are you going to know what's working and what's not? How are you going to get excited? How do you even know what excites you and what gets you down when you're running around on the hamster wheel, allowing your energy to be hijacked by all the busyness and everybody else's agendas, et cetera? So again, go to the website, pursuingfreedom.com/resources. You'll find the time tracking worksheet there, along with a number of other free tools that you can download to help you better organize your life and business. And when I say life and business, I mean that because when you have a framework outlined, it's beautifully measurable. When you've won the day, when you've actually focused during blocked out periods of time during your day, focused on yourself, focused on your business, giving yourself scheduled time to allow creativity to happen, to free your mind from constantly checking your phone and to give yourself space for some free thinking, some daydreaming, some mind wandering. You can much more easily give yourself permission to enjoy the freedom you were seeking when you started if you have measurable blocks of time where you know what you're going to get done during that time and then you get it done. Now you're free. Okay. And remember, when I talk about the ideal schedule, it's ideally, it's not perfection. So maybe ideally you'd like to do showings during a certain window in your week, windows of time during certain days, and you've blocked that time. Then you can lead with your availability. When your clients want to see a property, you can lead with your boundaries. Start there. Instead of saying, let me know when you want to get out, and then I'll accommodate that, which means, again, we're giving permission for our energy, attention, and emotion to be hijacked by somebody else's agenda. Lead with the boundaries that you would ideally like to see. And if that doesn't work, then you can choose to decide to bend the rules for this particular client and make an exception, or you can find a way to serve every client's needs by leveraging the support of other people or better systems. And sometimes we have this fear of like, well, if it's not me, but I can promise you that when you have more business than you can handle, balls are getting dropped anyway, whether you know it or not. Because when you're running around chasing and reacting all day, every day, becoming exhausted, allowing your energy to be depleted, you don't even have time to reflect. What did I even do today? And how effective was it? And was I operating at my peak energy, or was I showing up flat to the most important interactions of my day? By the way, including your personal relationships, even more importantly. So instead of thinking, oh man, I don't want to grow my business because once I go past this amount, then I start to burn out, rewrite the script and realize that if you could consistently follow a basic routine, some simple rules in your business, and create more business than you could possibly handle, you've now given yourself the beautiful reality of having choice on who to serve, choice on who to refer out to another agent, choice on what to delegate and what to handle yourself. So that somebody has the opportunity to not only make extra money in supporting you, but they get to learn from you. They get to absorb your awesomeness, which helps them on their journey. So you're paying it forward. It's not a bad thing to have more business than you can handle. Okay, so the last R, which is recess or play, that can be blocked and prioritized as well. And it should be. How many times do you find yourself with a friend at lunch or hanging out with children and you're constantly checking your phone? This is a perfect example of how not having a routine results in work creeping into every nook and cranny of your day. If you actually scheduled times to manage your inbox, you wouldn't have to check your email every 5 minutes. You'd know that there are blocks of time dedicated to focus, which gives you the freedom, by the way, to be present with play. Focus sprints followed by focused rest and recovery, and more importantly, fun. Fun. Remember that awesome thing? This is why we became self-employed. We wanted to have more flexibility, to have more fun. This will produce far greater results than simply going through the motions on autopilot, feeling compelled to always be plugged in, feeling constantly distracted, constantly asking yourself if you've done enough today, never knowing if the success of your business is predictable or if it's just a hodgepodge of ups and downs. So in order for you to take the wheel of your life and business, it's up to you. You've got to decide it can be better and be willing to do something about it. There's no freedom when you wake up every day, hop on the bus of busyness because you simply haven't made a simple game plan. And at the end of every day, you find yourself tired and confused about whether you're even making progress. The mission, the goal here is to simplify. Just simplify this. I always tell myself, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Honestly, the simpler, the better. Simplicity plus consistency will always generate results. And by the way, when you implement this consistency, you will have more business than you can handle. And it does not mean a trade-off of your freedom. It just means choices. Okay? It means giving others opportunities to support you in the areas that you simply don't have the time to do. So if you guys need help, I highly encourage you, hop over to pursuingfreedom.com, download the tools I've mentioned here that I've used to create more freedom, more joy, and more predictability without the compromise of financial freedom. If a spontaneous free spirit like me can embrace routines, someone, by the way, who started with nothing, no systems, I had no plans, and I certainly didn't have any money to speak of. If you know my story, you know it wasn't pretty. So if I can do it, I know that you can do it too. Remember, what's the point of taking the leap to 100% commission self-employed if you are not having fun, you're always exhausted, and you never feel in control of your future? So as always, I love and appreciate you guys. If you have the time to go to wherever you're consuming this podcast, scroll down and look for the little pencil and leave a review. I would greatly appreciate it. We've done over 100 episodes, and my goal now is to get to over 100 reviews on Apple. So I would really appreciate that review. And hop over to Facebook and join us at Pursuing Freedom if you want to be kept up to date on future resources, free workshops, and programs that are going to be coming up in the future, because I am always happy to help you on your journey. I believe truly, because I've experienced, that you can have both and, but it's up to you to decide. And there's no point in waiting. Let's start today. All right, make it an awesome day, and I'll see you next time.